good. Happy Thursday afternoon to everyone, and welcome to Tech Tips Live for November. We are getting started here on this beautiful fall afternoon, and thanks for joining us to learn a little bit more about how your company can transform the way you collect data from using templates to inspections. So I did get the recording started today. If there are things you want to go back and see today, you'll be able to pick that up later on our webpage or at our YouTube channel. And as well, you could send this to other people in your company that might be interested. One thing we will be doing in the next month or so is planning out our 2022 slate of Tech Tips Live. I would certainly love to hear from any of you on ideas you would have for Tech Tips Live. So Andy, come on, man, you're here every month. What would you like to see some Tech Tips Live on? I'd love to hear that, and any of the rest of you, obviously. So you can email me, phil@hertzler.com. You could put in the chat today. Any ideas are welcome. We will get together internally and set up our agenda for next year, but certainly would like to have some outside input on that. Jen, you want to go to the next slide? Yeah, so again, I'm Phil Mason. I think all of you know me, and I am working today with Jen Miklick. And last month I joked that Jen was about due for hosting. Jen, of course, knew that she was already slated to be on Tech Tips Live this month. So I'm so happy to have her join me. And Jen, in her role as technical project manager, is often walking through these types of projects with customers like yourselves. And so she's a great one to talk today about how companies are working at going from templates to inspections and a little bit about what that means. So Jen, anything else you want to say?
Nope, I'm ready to get going. I'm excited about it. I want to welcome everybody that's here. The ones that I know you've been around maybe even longer than I have, and templates work, right? They're rugged, they're tough, they're durable, and that's why we haven't had to change them. But you know, there's things, process changes, technology changes. It's time to look to the future, and there's a lot of opportunities when you think the scary thing is about, oh, I got to change from templates to inspections. What's that's going to be? But there's also a lot of exciting things and different ways that we can improve the process as well. So just kind of showing on this slide, just a brief introduction, templates versus inspections. And then I have just a couple slides of comparisons of what does that data entry look like. And then I'm actually going to demo just a very, very simple inspection. And then we're actually going to take a peek behind the scenes of it. Just to show you the ease of use of it compared to going from templates and writing in templates that way. And then explain we do have a transformation service, design service. So you're writing and let's just take the templates and what can we do? Let's go to inspections, and we actually have an on-site design service for that. Or not really ready to take a big chunk, maybe just little bite-sized chunks because you just need a little more time. I have a lot of options that we can talk about as well as what is the best situation for you.
All right.
And then, as always, we'll take questions.
Cool. Yes. Have your questions ready. Put them in the chat window again. I'll keep track of those, and Jen and I can discuss those. So why don't you go ahead and go to the next slide, Jen.
All right.
So as way of introduction for some of you, if you've been a customer for a long time, you probably did start out with templates, and most likely you're still using them. If you're a fairly new customer within the last 3 to 4, maybe 5 years, you maybe never use templates at all and you're just using inspections, and you're welcome to hang with us, but some of this may not apply to you as much. But Jen did a great job here of kind of answering those questions of what are templates, what are inspections. And you see she has the icons on there. You can see the two different ways. So when you're using templates, you're using SPC data entry, you're using planned sessions. With inspections, it's PC collect and planned inspections. With templates, it had its own kind of coding, and these are 32-bit applications. And that's why you hear us say from time to time, folks, Microsoft is not going to support this forever, and they're not. We've looked at various points to kind of see, well, when's Microsoft really going to say no to this? And they haven't. But one of the kind of impactful things I saw today was someone was just talking about 32-bit applications and saying, if you're using 32-bit, you're kind of dooming yourself to things that run slower because you can't address as much memory, and things that are less secure. You know, we know that 32-bit applications are not being updated. They don't have newer security patches and things like that, which obviously is a big concern for all of us. With inspections, you now have Python, and I mean, innumerable ways to extend what our software is able to do. And today we're just barely touching the surface on that. And then this is a more modern 64-bit application. So I will fade to the back, and I will let Jen take it away at this point.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate that. One other thing just to note on here, the template coding versus the Python coding. You know, back in the day, everything was template, and we did it, and we worked through it. The nice thing about Python coding is you can Google things like how do you do this? What are snippets of code? It's more of an open source code. So when you want to do those special things, you can do them a lot easier. So I thought I was going to do some side-by-side comparisons. So if you look at the top left here, this is a typical SPC data entry, right? So we enter our traceabilities first. You can see it says enter lot. So we type that and hit enter and go to the next one. And we know that, you know, you can see up here, you can see the previous thing was operator, and you can see what they put, but you can't see everything that you put. The nice thing about inspections, if you look here on the right hand, is I can put all that traceability in one, what we call sub-inspection, in one screen. So we can look at it all, easily see it. It's got a more appealing look, and those explanations on the left-hand side, that lets me know very easily that it's required. So until I fill that in, I have an incomplete down here, like I can't go forward. So just the look visually is a lot different. You have pull down menus. You can hit cancel. You can take cancel away. On the next one, we have data entry. So when you're actually entering, whether you've got a micrometer or you're typing it in with keyboard, you can see at the top here on our templates, you can have charts on there. Sometimes you have a part picture. And below, I actually have two different scenarios here. On the left-hand side, we have what we call data canvas. And what that allows is if you have numerous points on a part and you have that image, a lot of times everybody doesn't measure the same part the same way. You can actually click on these images and say, okay, this is where I'm entering this part. Click, push my micrometer on this part. Oops, sorry. And you can see all the values before you even hit submit. On the right-hand side here is a typical, just put your information in here. You can tab, you can enter, you can click. And as you go through, if you want to see the different charts, you can absolutely set that. We can also put instructions up there, diagrams. I believe Adrienne even has in one of her demo videos is instructions. Is there a way that you have to put the part somewhere or time it or turn it around? We can have videos on there as well. So we've really come a long way from the template design of how you're entering your data to the inspections. And we'll kind of take a peek here in just a second. So with that being said, I made a very, very basic inspection for you guys. And what I did is I told it I want it right to go into my inspection or in my traceability. So all three of these traceabilities are required. So I have shift, I have drop down, I'm operator and machine. And once I fill those in, I can now hit submit. And here I decided I want to let my operators choose what to do next. Now, very easily with a point and a click, we can force them to go right into the next one. But for demonstration purposes, I wanted to show you what the normal data values look like. So when we put in, I can put in, I'm cheating here, our values. As I scroll through, you notice that the chart is changing. So the chart is actually changing because I set that in the inspection. So as soon as I tab out, all of these are okay. Once I hit submit, it will take me back here and I can choose to go somewhere else. So that's one choice of data entry. Another one that I spoke of is the canvas. Now I only put 3 areas on here just to show you real quick. If I click anywhere in here, you notice on the left-hand side, it's following me along. So if I want to put a value in there, I can click around and very simply put my values in. But it's showing me colors. If I put something wrong in, I'm going to see the color both on the left-hand side. It's actually going to tell me what's wrong. And I'm going to see that color on the right-hand side as well. So that is called the data canvas. I'm going to submit here. And also, we're doing DMS checks and templates. We had a couple different ways to do it, and one was some pretty intensive coding with the templates. And I'm happy to show you. I have a couple different examples. You probably wouldn't have all these on one page, but really easy point click setting this up. I can say for this part number, is there a blister on it, a splay, discolor? As I click on these, you see it's incrementing. I can also type in there. The other thing we can do is just have pass or fails. Maybe it's just go, no go, right? And instead of doing the old way, 0s and 1s, we can say, is the color correct? You know, pass, yep, fail, no, and we can even force a note if we want. The other thing we have is what we call a Likert scale. So if I wanted to rate the color of this object, oh, it's perfect. Nah, but the color passes. So far we're still good, but it kind of lets me know on a grade from 1 to 5. You could say it's neutral, and I'm assigning different colors to this as what I want to show. No, it's a little discolored, or no, absolutely, it's the wrong color. So we can assign defects to these, as well as number ratings to a traceability. So I'm going to hit submit here. And now what I want to do is kind of show you right behind the scenes here is, let me open it up and then it should let me put things over here. Take a peek behind the curtain. So for those of you who are used to templates, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? But at the same time, it looks very inviting. It's very point and click. It's very easy. This is my traceability that I have here. Say I don't want machine anymore, I can simply right click and delete it, and that's gone. I want to add a traceability to it. Maybe I need a lot number. I add that in. I just point click. Over on the right hand side, do I want to clear this value so it doesn't remember it? Yeah, I want to clear it all the time. Is this entry required? Pretty easy to say true or false, right? Is it restricted? Meaning, is it restricted to the drop-down menu? So we have a lot of different options here. I could go all day showing you these things, but just showing you the inside of creating an inspection is definitely looks a little nicer and easier to choose from your options than working with templates. Just kind of showing you the numeric inputs here. I actually have, hey, if something's wrong, do you want to send an email? I simply put in my email, and earlier today, see if I can get it, I went through and look, when I had an error, it automatically sent me an email, and literally the only thing I did, but you got to make sure that your server's set up, your email server, is say send link charts and check failure response, and there's my email. So like I said, I could go on and on, but I kind of wanted to give you a sneak peek of what that looks like and what you're dealing with when you're creating inspections. So I am going to go right into what we call our transformation service. So it is an on-site design service, and some of the things that we do is, I call this the pre-planning meeting. We have introductions, we meet the key stakeholders. It's almost like a brand new project. You get quality, some of the operators out there, COO, whoever needs to be in there. We have discussions about how they're currently using your templates, right? Are they great? What are your wishes, your must-haves, your nice-to-haves? What has been working really well that you just want to make sure is the same? And now maybe your process has changed. These templates could have been written 10 to 15 years ago. Are there things that you haven't been able to change in your process for fear of having to change the template? Well, now is a great time to talk about those things. What can we do? How can we enhance it? Is there anything we can do now to automate it? Some of your new equipment, can we connect to it? The other thing that we can talk about is templates don't have to be a one-to-one transition to inspections. Is there a way, because of the new abilities with inspections, can we transform maybe 5 of your templates into one main inspection? So these are conversations that we will have with you full day. We'll also collect and download the templates and any other pertinent information, and we take them back. The technical project managers, we take them back, we analyze them, look at them, and then we'll create a statement of work from both the templates and the meetings that we have. So this is a paid service. Like I said, it's $2,000 plus expenses. This is just one way to go about it if you're ready to talk about it, and let's go forward. Yes, Phil.
So Jen, you do all this, you have the meeting, and then you produce that statement of work. What's in that statement of work? What will I be seeing as a customer in this case?
Talking about the plan of action. How do we go about and do that? And thanks, Phil, for asking that. Are we going to do phases? And those are something else that we'll talk about. Is there a new area that we go in? So we'll talk about phases, the deployment options, timelines, additional trainings, and actually all the technicals. What are we going to do? And if the company wants to be on and do training first and do kind of like a side-by-side, we can marry that. But the company will have all that information of what do we need to go forward.
Okay, and kind of how long it'll take, and like you said, some of those options, and do you want maybe more traditional training, or we've oftentimes now we're doing more kind of coaching or workshops where we work along with clients to help them do some of that work. And just like you did demonstrate right there, some little bits of, hey, here, click, add this, set the properties, it's ready to go. And we haven't even, like we said, haven't even gotten into Python yet. We won't today. So
no. That good. I definitely would be getting late, and I'm trying to be I'm actually on time, so I'm pretty happy about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I don't want everybody to think that you have to do everything all at once, right? That kind of, it's like, maybe I just want to dip my toe in the water. I don't really want to jump in. We've had a lot of customers say, is it all or nothing? And no, absolutely not. What are some of the things that we're seeing and some of the options to do an inspection rollout? Do you have a new project? We see this a lot of times with customers. It's a brand new project, new area. We're going to talk with you and say, hey, this is a great opportunity to not only go into inspections, but we're utilizing the newest technology. You'll get to see the operators' reactions to it, quicker interactions between the machines, and it's something that doesn't affect the current templates going on, right? You can absolutely still use templates, still add that into your database, you're still saving it, and still use inspections at the same time. Absolutely, they do work hand in hand.
Yeah, that was you're kind of touching on something, Jen. There was kind of a question I was thinking about things people on the call might be thinking about. It's like, so can I use both?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The other kind of going on a new project is people have a lot of I don't have one in front of me, but paper check sheets, right? Might not even be quality, could be something else, you know. Are these done? That's my first shift checklist. Use inspections to do that. Let the operators get familiar with it. Again, it's something separate, but still you're getting in there. You're getting used to creating the inspections, getting used to the operators seeing it. And I challenge anybody to not like it. I mean, it just has an easier, appy feel to it. Most people find it a lot more inviting. And then obviously go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think for anybody on the call, and I know some of you have used our system far beyond SPC, but we have run into some clients lately where we had a client where they still have a lot of paper and they'd hired a company to come in and daily collect their paper and scan it and then send them back the PDF. And it was just like, oh, please, folks, we can, in GainSeeker, you can create these check sheets and those types of things right in GainSeeker with inspections and have that data stored right in GainSeeker. It's really fantastic. So.
Right. And I think Andrew had a question. Phil, I'm going to let you look at that while I go into my last couple here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I spoke about the template to inspection transformation service. I think one of the questions was about the $2,000, and that's for the site that we're at. And that's
it's the design
consultation, not for the services afterwards, right?
Right. Yeah. In an ideal world, yes, Andy, we would love to. We've had many internal debates about how we could even programmatically help people do some of those transformations, and they're different enough that it just takes some manual work, obviously. And so that design service is really, we want to help clients who would like our help to assess what do you have, and then we can give you a really good idea of what it will take to make it all happen. Yeah, you got it there.
Right. And then, yeah, we would quote what it would take for however many phases that we had talked about. So you'd actually see if you wanted Hertzler to do the services from that statement of work.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a question, Jen. So can Hertzler teach me how to make do that transformation?
Well, and then that is a very good question. And if that's something we're talking about design service, or if somebody just calls me, you know, there's a lot of questions that we would ask in that. You know, do you have the programming background? Are we coaching you? Maybe we coach you and go through one or two of them and kind of hand off. And then as you need us, you know, we've got time for that. So, you know, we always try to do whatever the customer needs. So we're pretty flexible on that. And I know we're getting away from time. I did want to say the one more inspection rollout option is if your template needs tweaking, and we just had some services last week with a customer that needed some template tweaking, maybe that is a great time to say, let's take that template and switch it to inspections. And maybe we couple that with some coaching or inspection training. So we can definitely do that. What I really want everybody to know is inspections are not scary. They're really nice. Almost feel like you get a little lazy. Just pointing and clicking and doing things. Granted, the more automation, the more customization that you want, you're going to get into some of that Python programming a little bit. And we do even have GainSeeker Ease Python for those who don't really want to program. And we do some of that training as well.
Okay, very good. So I think next slide is our question slide. Yep. All right. If anybody else has anything else in the chat window. So I think we talked about, can I mix them? Sure. Which is also kind of that, do I have to do all this at once? No. You can start small. We've had a number of clients where we have started, we've helped them, like I think often what Jen just mentioned there at the end, they needed a template updated. We talked about it and we kind of convinced them, it's like, let's do an inspection. And they did. And once they got the inspection and they rolled it out to the shop floor, people are like, hey, this is a lot nicer than that other way. Can we get everything else updated? So I think that's, people are find that whole, the way inspections work to be a little more friendly. And then as Jen pointed out too, we just have a lot more capabilities. Things like the data canvas, having the images up there, being able to add the defect data in there. Those are some things that really are very useful. Anything else you can think of, Jen?
I'm trying. You know, I know we're always available. You kind of want to see a sneak peek. You want to see inspections. Maybe you haven't upgraded to the most recent version. If you haven't spoke with your account manager or your technical project manager, maybe we need another demo for the team. You know, we're here for you. We want you to use the latest technology because it's there for you to use. You've bought it, you've purchased it. It's so much quicker. We did some time testing on that too.
And we're able to support it better too. You know, it's just that. So, all right, couple minutes left. Our last Tech Tips Live of the year will be in just about a month. December 16th. Sorry, again, the third Thursday. And we will start at 2 p.m., but we are going to go a little longer, 45 minutes. We're going to try something a little bit new. We're going to have a round table. So I'll probably moderate, and we're going to have some of our technical project managers on here, some of our implementation specialists, probably Chris Bowman, some others who are available beyond. And we'll have Byron on, our head alpha geek. And we're just going to all have a chance to share a little bit about some of the projects we've worked on, some of the really cool things we've seen people doing with GainSeeker, as well as talking a little bit about what we're seeing in the industry and what's going on in Industry 4.0. So we certainly hope you can join us for that. It'll be a little longer time period, not so much purely on a topic, but just talking in general ways about what's going on in kind of the shop floor quality world with GainSeeker, with our clients, and some of the things that we see. So certainly hope you'll be able to join us for that. I will get this recording posted here in the next few days. Hopefully, maybe I'll get it done before I leave for a Thanksgiving week off. And again, I'll make a pitch. If you have ideas for a topic, please send those to me. I would appreciate that, as we've got a meeting coming up internally to plan 2022. And so thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your week and have a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday as well. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate the feedback there. So thank you all for joining us.